Guys, welcome back to another Grow Your BNB video. So if you're new to this channel, my name is Piers. Now listen, firstly, I'd like to thank you so much for coming to my channel. If you're not subscribed, please make sure you hit subscribe and hit the notification bell on, because I bring videos every other day right now for you to learn about the industry. But today's video is actually quite special and you're going to be one of this person. So look, watch this video, understand why and how you're going to relate to this kind of topic, that you're going to launch this property or launch this business, but you also need to understand how people get into this industry and how you're going to be one of those people to actually learn from myself or learn from people in the industry right now, right? So let's crack on with this video, and please make sure you watch this video right till the end, because there are some gems I'm going to drop in this video. So I think over the years, what I want to share today was, again, I work with numbers of owners right now in short-term rental business, and I also work with service accommodation owner, and I also found that actually there was people who are just who I call Airbnb business owner. So today I said I want to share with you three kind of types of kind of jargon, kind of name that I want to give to different people who have somehow come to this industry in a way they would actually operate their business. So for me, there's three types of business owners in this industry, right? The first one is service accommodation owner, right? So the industry talks about, again, if you're new to this channel, if you're not from the UK, we use the term service accommodation. Secondly, I then have transitioned myself and many of my clients into a much more of a short-term rental business owner, which is a little bit different, and I'll explain to you exactly why that is. And last but not the least, also Airbnb owners, right? And there's people out there who have accidentally got into this business of Airbnb, and all they do is operate their properties in Airbnb and make their money that way. So look, it's a very interesting video. You'll probably be able to connect in this video through what I say, how you're going to be one of those person. And let's start with the first topic, service accommodation owner. So service accommodation owner, right? So our industry is a lot about, rent to service accommodation. A lot of people follow me on social media for that. I've been in the industry long enough, 4 years, to see kind of the transition into service accommodation investment first, how it was just rent to rent strategy. Potentially you want to rent a property first. If you don't know what that is, you rent a property from a landlord, and then you be able to as long as you've got the right agreement, right legals, you then re-let it out as a company let with the right lease, the right legals, to as a service accommodation or Airbnb business, right? But the more importantly, what I found was with service accommodation owner, it's constantly talked about nightly rates, which is what people charge on a nightly rate, right? Because it's serviced accommodation. Instead of hotel, people are coming to you and staying. But also all people do is think about the occupancy rate as, okay, if I make 45%, then I've made my break even, and then all of a sudden what they do is they do their numbers based on 70% occupancy rate, and imagine 70% occupancy rate with £100, they're making themselves anywhere between £500 to £1,000 kind of net profit. So the terms again are quite different. I found that people in service accommodation business model are much more focused on 2-3 nights booking. They've got a lot of weekend being booked, and they've got to search for business for like the weekdays, and constantly again looking and worrying about the little empty calendars. Now don't get me wrong, when we first started this business in 2017, I was one of them, and I'll happily share that, because that was what the industry was all about then, right? Nobody was exploring different ways to get long-term booking. Nobody were talking about it. But as the industry grew, and I grew myself in the industry, what I found was actually every time I was landing those long-term booking, and that, one of my biggest strengths over the years was actually marketing my properties well. And what effectively it did allow me to understand was every time I had a long-term booking, it made my management a lot less, because all of a sudden I was from having 2-3 nights in between booking, check in, check out, management, client expectation, to one client in for a whole month, and I felt like I never heard from those clients, and they checked out in about 4 weeks time. And I did that again with another client, and all of a sudden my management went from through the roof down right at the bottom, and I started enjoying the business model a lot more, which is where I now take my clients into, which is going back into what I said, short-term rental business owner. Now, the short-term rental business owner, where today I can sit down 4 years later and talk about how the industry has changed, why long-term booking is the way forward in the industry, and especially if you're launching property, you want to be a short-term rental owner, because what short-term rental owners do is we focus on long-term booking. We know exactly how to manage our calendar. We also have minimums of 4 to 7 nights, so anything less we're not interested on bookings at all. We also understand profit pricing, so rather than going into the nightly rate routes, we know at the end of the month we know what to make from one specific property, and it also allows us to be a very hands-free company, right? So we don't have to worry about check-in, check-outs and all that sort of stuff. Now, as the business has grown, as the industry has grown, and as I've worked with over hundreds, I'll probably say just over hundreds of operators with, you know, probably 900 plus properties all over the UK as well as Australia, I've really found out that everyone came back to the same thing, right? It was like, how do I become a short-term rental owner, rather than actually how do I just get a 2-3 nights booking. So it's very interesting to see that I kept sharing that on my social, and eventually last year when the pandemic happened, I think I'm pretty blessed to say this, that I nearly saved about 10 to 15 businesses working with people, because when everyone was worrying, I was quite creative with my branding and marketing. So, you know, Google presence, all the other platforms where I knew I was gonna get long-term booking. It wouldn't be profitable booking, but I was getting booked in the middle of pandemic, right? With different sort of clientele, like hospital clients, nurses. There were people who are key workers. They needed that property, and we had to be in front of them. So all of a sudden, I started working with like probably 10, 15 clients last year, and started saving everyone's businesses, getting cash flow back, and all went down to long-term bookings. It was never 2-3 nights booking. It was clients like Lydia I worked with, who we secured last year a 6 months direct booking, and all of a sudden she was about to lose her business, right? 2 properties empty, a month, she was like panicking, came and worked with me, and all of a sudden she had 6 months booking. And that was all going back to being a short-term renter business owner, where you start thinking differently. You're thinking about your business, you're thinking about your properties, you're also thinking about your branding, which is what we do right now, is actually promote our brand, so that your end user, like your guest, are always thinking about actually how do we go about booking long term. And that's how they find you. They find you as a brand. They don't just go into your OTA like Airbnb and booking.com, and they don't just book you. So look, that's where we found that as short-term renter owner, you start thinking like a business, like a proper business, rather than just letting yourself out there launching properties on Airbnb, booking.com, trying to do everything yourself as a service accommodation owner, and it will never work that way. Now, as transitioning to my favorite part, which is a lot of clients I've recently worked are accidental Airbnb business owner, which are especially landlords, right? Property owners who have had massive issues with tenants, and I'm sure people will relate to this. I'm sure you're one of them who own a property. You've been in that position where you've gone, tenants messed your property, have not enjoyed it, it's cost you more money, your profit margin is very little to none, and all of a sudden you've been told, like, go and rent your property in Airbnb, hoping that people book you for nightly, and all of a sudden you've now fall into this business model, and all you do, and as a business owner, or all you do as a landlord, is you feature your property on Airbnb. You're a lot more hands-on, you don't use any other platform, and you are actually making a lot more better return than your normal AST, right? Your normal rental. So they're the 3 business owners I have currently worked with in our industry. People come with me saying, oh, I'm a service accommodation owner, few nightly rates, few nights booked, I want to change it to become a short-term renter owner. I've now got, recently I've started getting a lot of Airbnb business owner who are accidental landlords getting into Airbnb business, as well as now just turning themselves into short-term rental business. So all I felt was you need to find out the best model for you. Don't get me wrong, I love service accommodation model as well, but you really need to be hands-on. And for a management company, you are a service accommodation business because you're a management company managing it for other people, which means there's going to be a lot of nightly bookings, there's going to be a lot of management, and you're more than welcome to do that. If you're independently running and operating this business, you want to come as a short-term rental business owner where you want to have one big booking, one big customers. And look, if you look at my channel, we've launched nearly 10 properties in the last 8 weeks and all of them getting long-term bookings. So look, if you're new to this channel, guys, this is what I want to share you today, the 3 types of business owners in our industry. Well, look, if you've got any questions, if you feel like there's a lot more you want to learn from this channel, I'd love you to ask me any questions in the comment. For today, guys, thank you so much for watching this Grow Your BNB video. If you're not connected with me on social, I share the daily wins, the losses, the challenges, everything you want to know about short-term rental business in my Facebook or Instagram. I'm going to leave the link down below. Please make sure you add me. Let's connect and let's learn together. Let's win together. And thank you so much for watching another Grow Your BNB video.